Ahoy and good day, mateys. How are we all today? I be Josh the Pirate, and I'm back for some more Tactics Tyrsday. And today I'm having a look at third-party 5e content, which is actually something I've never done before. I'm normally looking at non-5e shit, but I really wanted to have this thing here, right here, what I am looking at. That's one, that, there. I really wanted to have a look at for a while. I acquired it, I am not certain how. I think it might have been as a thank you for something I was involved in charity-wise. I feel like that might be accurate. But I acquire many things in many different ways, all of which legally. And it's the best way to make anything sound suspicious. Is just to get completely legally, just be overly specific. Yes, I was seeing a person today who is completely 100% alive. Wait, why did you feel the need to specify that? No reason. But they're still breathing as the last time I saw them. Yeah, so I acquired this legally. There's a couple of other bits and pieces as well. There's an elf gender thing as well that I'm curious about. They were alive when I met them. They are. To my knowledge, they still are, LEB. No one has told me otherwise. How would I know? I should say hi to peeps. Hey, MVC. Hey, LEB. How are we both? Lovely to see you. Thank you for coming and hanging out. You're slipping, clearly. Look, I may have slipped. They may have slipped. I don't know, and that's the thing. They were alive the last time I looked at them. And I will say no more. Thank you for joining me. I be Josh the Pirate. This is my channel, Courses Cove, where I do D&D and RPG-related things. And today, I'm going to be looking at some fun 5e content created by other people. This one is by Weird Works? Right now. Zero Level Adventurers, a 5th edition supplement by Thomdenic. That name rings a bell. He didn't do Major Magica, did he? No, he did not. Brenda Ho, Kurt Komoda, and Benson Condier assisted as well. So, what is a zero level? What is zero level? Adventurers are commoners. This is your character before they master the fighting arts. So this is a 24-page thing. This is a fairly chunky boy. And I actually want to have a look at another one very quickly. Because I've got two of this. I've got two things like this. This is... Oh, that's that. There's another one. Is it the same? Oh, it is. It's the same thing. Okay, I've doubled up. Well, yeah, given that the files are identically sized, that's probably accurate. Okay, so commoners as heroes for 5e, we will turn that off. We don't need that. Okay, good. Well, that's one less thing to have to look at. Alright. Commoners as PCs for 5e, can delete. There we go, don't need that one. Right! So, as a zero level, you know you are destined for greater things, and while you toil away at the occupation society has tossed you into, you know that someday you will get a chance to prove yourself and rise above the rabble. Why play zero level? Playing a zero level adventure is an exciting experience. What any wrong move could result in a permanent and messy death. Taking risks means something entirely new when the risk could mean a character's story. Zero level campaigns are no less epic than a standard 5e campaign. You'll uncover ancient artifacts, battle vicious abominations, explore unlit depths, and solve mind-bending puzzles. Our aim with the supplement is to open up the fun alternative avenue for play for 5e players. I'm on board so far. Just extra squishy, exactly. In standard 5e gameplay, the emphasis on your character's creation is putting a lot of thought and effort into creating your character's background from scratch. You can use the background systems to create a backstory and history for your character. With zero-level characters, you actually create your character's history through rolling dice and gameplay. But be warned, adventuring as a zero level is deadly work, so you will generally be playing 2 to 4 characters in a zero-level campaign adventure, hoping for at least one to survive. I love it. At the conclusion of this adventure, you hopefully will have at least a couple of adventurers with a story of how they became what they are, ready for a level 1 adventure. Since you need to have Dumb Ways to Die D&D edition. Yep, exactly. Since you need to have more than one character to play a zero-level campaign, we have a series of random tables that you will roll on to generate your character. You got to break a few commoners to make an adventure, right? Exactly, MVC. I think the implication here is that you're going to break a lot of commoners. We have a series of random tables that you will roll on to generate your character. Let's do it. Let's roll on these tables. I love rolling dice. Pardon me. I'm gonna get my new pirate ship dice. Right. Grab your half-cooked characters, make them fight. Whoever survives the game can go on to be in an actual campaign. This is the thing. I actually kind of want to do this. This is something the reason I'm having a look is because I kind of want to do it. I kind of want to have a short one. Hey, Tony. Good to see you, mate. Kind of want to do a short one where, yeah, I do try it out. And have just a 1 or 2 shot as a precursor to a campaign. Where everybody gets a sort of, it's like a session 0. But we actually get a bit of backstory on these characters. But we see it in real life. So, based on the type of fantasy world your campaign is set in, your DM will pick a table for you to roll on. And characters raised below. Some worlds have an even mix of demi-human races, and some are heavily populated by humans. If you're not sure which table to roll on, the default table is a great way to pick one, as it should conform to standard 5e settings like Forgotten Realms or Greyhawk. Your subrace does not affect racial abilities you get at level 0, so choosing is optional. Okay. Race table. Oh, it's a D100. Okay. Let's roll. Oh, okay. That's cool. I'm going to roll high fantasy. They have different probabilities of turning out. Human, halfling, dwarf, gnome, tiefling, half-elf, elf, half-orc, and dragonborn, which are the core races from the original rulebook. The core 5e book. Anyone says a D100 now? Yeah. Jasper's flashbacks. See, I got 5. I got 00 and a 5. Number 5 is human. It's human all across the board, which is fucking boring. So I'm going to roll it again. A 62. 62 is either a gnome in the default setting, or if we're playing high fantasy, it's a half-elf. And if we're playing human-dominated, it is still a human. Up to 64 is human. Wow. That's interesting. Cool. Alrighty. Yeah. Well, we said high fantasy, which means half-elf. Half-elf, half-gnome. Yes, no one said what the other half was. It's like last night, yeah, Karen's character grew horns. And she's like, ooh, what do they look like? And I said, I didn't say where from. We decided the backs of her feet. 0-level racial traits. Okay. So, half-elf, size medium, speed 30 feet, extra language Elvish, ability bonus +2 to charisma, +1 any, +1 any, dark vision, Fey ancestry. Okay, that's just, yeah, that is just what they get. Humans +1 to all. It's the only thing. So they've cut a bunch of it down. Halflings get brave and halfling nimbleness. But no weapons proficiencies or anything like that from anything. Draconic ancestry, draconic resilience. Do you still get the breath weapon for a dragonborn? Probably not. Maybe though. Hellish resistance. Ooh, do you... I don't know. I'm trying to remember exactly what Hellish resistance gives you, because... Hang on. How am I getting out the PDF? I have a book. And I love the books. So use the books. It's been so long since I played any racial characters from this book. Dragonborn. Draconic Ancestry, yeah. It does say you would get a breath weapon from the Draconic Ancestry. You would also get damage resistance. Tiefling. Infernal Legacy. Hellish Resistance is just resistant to fire damage. You don't get your Infernal Legacy. So no magic spells. Which is fair. Resistance to Billie Eilish, yes. It's Eilish resistance, yes. Hey, Absalom Dak, how are you, mate? Good to see you, thanks for joining. I am having a look at level 0 character rules. So first of all, racial traits. Yeah, well, they all are. That's why you have to be careful with them, and having resistance to bad guys is a good idea. I'm very well. I've had a very productive day. I have, you know when you've had a physically active day and you feel just a little bit tired, but you're like, yeah, but it feels good to have done stuff. Like I mowed all the garden. There was quite a lot of it, and yeah, I was like, I spent 3 hours outside doing things, and raking and sweeping, and yeah, it feels good to have gotten up and do the stuff. Alright, so that's that. We are Dragonborn Ancestry Table. Ooh! Okay, that's really good. Because it's a lot more fun to roll your ancestry than pick it. Oh, okay, they give you a table to roll on. And it looks like you are significantly more likely to be... Oh no. Okay, so you've got a 1 in 5 chance of being black, and another 1 in 5 chance of being white, brass. Black, white, or brass is a 20%. Then 10% chance for copper. Blue and bronze are 5%. Green is 6%. And then red is 6%. Silver is 2%. And gold is 2%. Cold breathe. Oh, just damage resistance. Cold. For gold. Pretty sure that's wrong. Never mind. Doesn't matter. Step 2. Determine your character attributes. We're not playing a Dragonborn anyway, so it doesn't matter. With a level 0 characters, there's no point buys, mulligans, or do-overs. We value weird, unusual characters. The incredibly ugly and the uncharacteristic tiefling and uncharismatic tiefling has a place in the world just as much as the min-maxed half-orc brawler. True balance has no place in a level 0 game. We want randomness, and we adapt to our characters and stories to the dice as they lay. I like this. Roll your ability scores. Roll 3d6 for each ability in order. And add any racial modifiers you have, and fill in the rest of your character sheet. You may not switch ability scores around, and you must play the rolls as they lay. After determining your base ability scores, be sure to note the modifier on the stat based on the standard 5e rules. Yep. Shall we? This is chaos. Yes. Not choosing what your abilities go. What madness! Alright. 46. The wonderful Soteris bought me some pirate dice. They have little pirate ships in them. You probably can't see very well, but yes. Hang on. You probably can't see it all, but yes, there they are. In the gel, you can see the little pirate ship in there. And they're all unique. Okay, why am I rolling 3? That's pretty good. Because that's a 6. Okay. First roll, strength. Morning up, evening up. Hello, hello. What's all this then? Happy time zone to you, Crispin. Good to see you. Just gonna have a lurk today, Tony. That's absolutely fine. Thank you for the lurk, buddy. So I got a 5, a 6, and a 3, which all up is 14. Which is pretty good for strength. Strong boy. So 14. Yep, good. 3 more like that. Oh shit. That is a 14 as well. 2 5s and a 4. Is that a 4? No, it's a 3. 13. Still pretty good, though. Dex. It's Dex. 13. Howdy, Rubinsky King. How are ya? A strong half-elf. Yeah, and fairly dexterous, too. Holy shit. That is a 16. That's 2 5s and a 6. This is nuts. I haven't rolled this well in ages. Like, I'm not even having to fake it. Yeah. Con 16. So, Rubinsky King, we're playing around with making a level 0 character. And, oh boy. Oh, no. I got a 2 for one of them, but one's a 6 and one's a 5. This is ridiculous. Yeah. That's 11, 13. For intelligence. Level 0, yes. I know, right? A 12. 5, 6, and 1 for wisdom. This is actually, it's almost exactly a standard array. And that is a 5, 6, and 2. And I've rolled the Jolly Roger 4 times. And the Jolly Roger is only on one of the dice. So that dice has come up 4 of the 6 times. This is the god of peasants, I know, right? Averages 10.5. Yeah, that was a 13 as well on charisma. And because I'm a half elf, I get to add 2 to charisma and 1 to 2 others. So that's a 15 charisma. Half elf. Level 0. And then, we've got a pair of 13, so I say we make them 14s. So we get a 14 in Dex and a 14 in Intelligence. Or we pump the Charisma to 16. Because there's nothing that says you can't do... Because it's any. Still not good enough to be a Paladin. They'd be a pretty meh Paladin, but a level 0 Paladin, smart tank. They're pretty good across the board. Their lowest stat is a 12 in Wisdom. I think I'll leave it as 15 for Charisma. So you've got a bunch of +2s and a +3 in Con. It's nutty. Oh, not good enough to be a Paladin in 1st edition. Ah, I see. Yeah, this is... Okay, he's fucking weird. I'm gonna roll up that... So this is the half-elf, but I also rolled a human. So let's see what the human gets, because we have to roll more than one. Why not? Not a warlock, then. I mean, he could be a warlock. He'd be a freaking good warlock, actually. There isn't much he wouldn't be very good at. He'd be a bit of a meh druid. He'd be a bad wisdom caster, but that's about all the things he can't do. Finn the human time. Yep. Let's have a look at Finn the human. That's better. Finn the human gets a 4 for strength. 2 1s and a 2. Strength 4. Which actually becomes 5 because he's a human. So he gets +1 in everything. This is for 5e. Yes. So all of these... So what I'm going to be looking at today, Rubinsky King, is a bunch of expansions for 5e. Sort of third-party content. This is by Weird Works. These chaps. It's hard to see exactly, but I'm pretty sure it says pretty sure their name is Weirdworks. I'm not actually confident where I acquired it, but it's good fun so far. It is by Thom Denick. Yeah, it's a neat little thing. As I say, I'm not 100% sure where I acquired it. Ooh, that's a bit better. 3, 5, and 2 is around 10, isn't it? Yeah. So a dex of 11 for the human. Con. Let's have a look at con. That is also an 11. 2 5s and a 1. So a 12 in con. Okay. Not as splendid. That is a 4, a 3, and a 1, which means 8. So 9 for intelligence. This is a much more commoner. Ooh, that's better. 13 for wisdom. So 14 for wisdom, actually, because human. This is a cleric. And an 11 for charisma, so 12 actually, because human. So what you got there is a wisdom caster that does not get into combat ever. Could be a bard, but with a charisma of 12, I'd say a druid. Druid, because they've got an okay dex and an okay con. I just made a scholar. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. That's what I did. 2 of the stats are under 10. This is... I mean, if you balance what the human is with the half-elf, the chunky half-elf we rolled up, unless they're a bear. Wisdom caster doesn't get into combat. Yeah, wisdom caster that doesn't get into combat ever. Yeah, I reckon they'd be a decent druid when they level up to level 1. A biology PhD student. That sounds very specific, Ellie, and I don't know enough about you, but I'm guessing... Are you implying that you have a strength of 5? On their fieldwork. A shitty bard. God for a heist movie. Good for a heist movie, yeah. Sounds like a Dungeons and Doctorates character. Hey Kate! How are you? And lovely to see you, Dragon Care, as well. How are you, my dear? I've been raid chaining all day, Red. I've been bouncing from one person to the next, to the next, to the next. Basically, Scrain just sent me on a wonderful loop around. Right. Hit points. To determine hit points, roll a d4 and add your con mod. Oh dear. The result is, if the result is less than 1, your character has 1 hit point. Okay. For the half-elf first. In fact, no, fuck it. Can I have a d4 in chat for the half-elf? Exclamation mark, roll space, the number 4. Roll space. There you go. A 4! Nice, Kate. Freaking nice. And Dak gets a 1 for the human! That means, human boy, HP 2. The elf, on the other hand, has a +3 in con, so winds up with 7. Yeah, you are, Dak. That's great. Well done to both of you. That was exactly what we were looking for in both instances. Also puts the lie to the fact that the digital roller repeats itself. So, yeah, HP 7. He could take a hit. He can take more of a hit than a level 1 wizard. That's very funny to me. Min-maxing characters against each other. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want them to fight each other. Mind you, the human is so weak, like that's a -3 modifier for a 5. Yeah, -3. So if they hit the half-elf, there's a decent chance they do negative damage. When your level is 0, tankier... Yeah, when your level 0 is tankier than my level 1. I mean, I have actually seen a wizard at level 2 with 7 hit points. Wanted to call human a librarian, but I know too many information management professionals to say that. When I watch my guild play, they love me rolling for them, as it's nearly always a crap roll. Ah! Okay, what else we got? Base proficiency is +2. Initiative is simply a dex mod. Base armor class. Assuming you don't have any armor, this is just straight up your dex mod. 10 plus your dex mod. Bone and the librarian. Oh, he is a tank. Excellent. That's lovely. We do not speak of the Librarian Society. So, AC for the human is 10. And for the half-elf is 12. Saving throws. By default, you get no proficiency in saving throws. Some occupations may confer a saving throw proficiency. Skills. There's a good chance your character will not survive very long, so they need to fill in all your characters, so there is no need to fill in all of your character's skill modifiers. Step 3, determine your occupation. Excellent. Alright, I'm going to need a pair of d20s in chat, please. First one's the elf. Bonin the Fabulous. He does sound fabulous. Yeah, so we have blacksmith, miner, treasurer, bodyguard, plowman / woman. Oh, okay, what do we got? We have a 14 and an 11. Kate's already rolled, so I will take the 14 and the 11. Thank you, though, Kate. We will use the 10 later. Unless I like the 10 more. 14 for bone carver. That says bone carver? It does, doesn't it? Excellent. Okay. Right. And an 11 is a milkmaid. Milkman or milkmaid. Okay, so the bone carver has proficiency with wood carver's tools. Not super useful. Very rare that you get an opportunity to use that. Finn the human is a milkman. I think his name is Finn. Let's call him Finn. And yeah, I love that he's a milkman. Finn the milkman. But he can only deliver like 2 bottles of milk at once. There's trembling arms. That's a whole kilo. Finn the milkman has proficiency with animal handling. Which is appropriate because that's a wisdom skill. So +4 in animal handling. Handle. Yeah, 13 was mercenary. Executioner? They come with a great axe. Maybe Finn is a milk collector, not the milk deliverer. Yeah, he probably... Yeah, that tracks. Though I would argue you probably have to be stronger to be a milk collector than a milk deliverer. Because he just drives a truck. Hence the con, but crap strength. Oh, yeah. Okay. Alright, milkman. Because the other one's carpenter. Was a 10. And you also have starting monies. The milkman gets D8 silver pieces. Half-elf carpenter. Okay, so what do we reckon, chat? Do we want a half-elf bone carver or a half-elf carpenter? Because that's what we got. I love Finn the milkman. I think that's definitely what Finn is. Without wanting in any way to denigrate the noble profession of milkman. Carpenter. Very well. Yeah, a lot of people seem to be leaning in on the carpenter. Alrighty, in which case, yeah, they get proficiency with carpenter's tools, and a d6 gold pieces. Everything is coming up half-elf. Do a vote. Yeah, we could do a vote. Do a vote. Do a vote. How it does. Manage poll. New poll. Or bone cover. No additional votes, I think. 1 minute. Start poll. Boom. I'm not even going to weigh in on this one as well. You realize now you said that Finn the Milkman would be the one you want. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Finn the Milkman with a strength of 5. Yeah. I kind of like this as a short form NPC generation as well. Just for chaos is fun. Oh, it's tied as well. That's unhelpful, guys. 2 for Carpenter, 2 for Bone Carver. I need someone to split the difference, otherwise I'm gonna have to do it, and I don't want to do that. Bring your dead, Cartman. Bring out your dead. Ooh, that's different. I don't think we've got that one on the list. We are not helpful. No, you are not. Yeah. Came up 50-50. Yeah, alright, fine. Carpenter it is. Yeah, I'm going with Crisp and Crunch rolled a 2 on the dice. It's too late now. Because that would disagree with Dak. Did you not vote? I'm going to flip my pretty coin for it. This side is Carpenter. Carpenter. Carpenter it is. Okay, he's a carpenter. Carpenter. They're pretty much of a muchness, to be honest. But the Carpenter gets way more money. So D6 monies. You just know I'm going to roll a 6. Hey, I got a 1! Okay, he gets 1 gold coin. Yes, I need a name for the half-elf, please. Some suggestions. 1G... DC, yeah. 1 gold coin. 1 gold piece. Tony got a 5. Well, that's what we'll give the other one. A fortune for a Peony. It is. No, this is it. 1 gold coin is decent. Yeah, the Milkman has D8 silver pieces. I need a D8 in chat, please, for the Milkman, for Finn. What have we got? Any thoughts for the half-elf? Names? It could be it doesn't have to be a man as well. I'm more than happy to play female characters. Yeah, 3 silver pieces. 3, it's coming up 3s. All right, 3 silver pieces. Oh dear. How about Peony? Peony the half-elf. Peony. Very well. Peony gets, yeah, proficiency with Carpenter's tools. Carpenter's tools would be a dex thing, so that's +2, so +4 for Carpenter's tools. Tools. The Misadventures of Finn and Peony. Yep. I thought about running a game where my players are spending so much gold destabilizing the economy and rampant inflation makes so many hungry and poor. Well, I've always assumed does anybody know, I imagine most of you do because you're all D&D nerds, but the Order of the Stick. CSI Finn and Peony. Yeah, the Order of the Stick, there is a one strip where somebody runs into the town. It's just this happy little town, and all the market stalls have got their prices out in front of them. And quick, adventurers are coming! And everybody just flips the new prices up, and it's like 1 gold coin apples. And it was like, wow, 1 gold coin, that's really not bad, not pretty reasonable actually. And yeah, everybody just hikes their prices for the adventurers. I thought it was quite funny. The Milkman does get a club, while the Carpenter has a light hammer. Light hammer, club, a metal bucket for Finn. Never know when that's going to come in useful, you know? Not that sort of club. Yeah. Yeah, they become a tourist trap, exactly. And the Carpenter gets carpenter's tools. And common clothing, in both instances. Metal bucket could be a helmet. That's valid. That's true. Not a very good one, but, you know. I will take a metal bucket over no helmet at all, with the appropriate modifications. Dexterity occupations. Oh! First step towards determining your occupation is to define your character's highest ability score. Oh, okay. Alright. I do love Finn the Milkman, but con occupations would be stone carver. Because Peony's highest stat is, is con. Finn would die on his first day. Well, Finn is a wisdom caster, a wisdom person, wisdom occupations, and we used, I want to say the 11 for Finn, which is a trapper, which could give him proficiency with survival. A light crossbow with 20 bolts, which is a very useful thing for him to have, because that gets him to stay a long way away from the squishy end. A hunting trap. That's pretty handy. Bunnies and Burrows created a PC in 30 seconds. Wow. Interesting. Finn would die on his first day. I really like Finn the Milkman, though. I think that's funnier. So I'm going to leave it that way. But that is cool that they tweak it for what you're good at. Charisma occupations, milliner, fortune teller, peddler, singer. Yeah, obviously. Like all basic bard stuff. Yeah. Step 4, optional. Random starting item. Well, chat. You know what I'm going to ask you for. You may not actually, because I need a D100, please, in chat. 2 of them. First one is for Peony. A 30 for Peony. Empty sacks. No? Can I zoom? No, I want to zoom in. Yep, screw it. That's no better. I just can't see any better. Why are you like this? Empty flasks. Okay. Empty flasks. 3 empty flasks. And what did we do for the other one? We had a 26 from LEB. It's also empty flask, so we won't use that. We will use the 76, a 10-foot pole, which makes sense. If you're going to carry your bucket of milk, you want 2 each on end of a 10-foot pole. 10-foot pole, which is probably the club. But that's more of a quarterstaff. The old 10-foot pole, never wrong. Exactly. He can fill them with milk. Exactly. I mean, he could fill the empty flask with milk, but that's what he's got a metal bucket for. Adventuring as a level 0 NPC. There are some special rules for when to apply when playing with your less than heroic character. I mean, unless you're playing Peony, the half-elf Carpenter, who could beat the shit out of most wizards. I imagine Peony, because their intelligence is pretty decent too, they were just the bully at wizard school. And they were kicked out and they had to become a carpenter. As a 0 level PC, you have proficiency of +2. However, you are not proficient in anything except for your profession's special proficiency and your starting weapon. Okay, so Peony is proficient with a light hammer and Finn is proficient with a club. This represents many weeks and possibly even years of work in your profession. I don't understand why a milkman would be proficient with a club, but why not? It worries me a little bit. Like, what is this milk? How is this milkman acquiring the milk? Normally in D&D, if you are not proficient with armor or shields you are wearing, you have disadvantage on any ability check, saving throw, or attack roll that involves strength or dex. However, this effectively makes no 0 level hero could ever wear armor. This doesn't seem fun, so for the purposes of a 0 level character, don't do it. Weapon proficiency. You can attack with proficiency with your starting weapon, but attacking with other weapons means you don't get the bonus. However, several occupations confer proficiency to a type of weapon. In this case, your character is proficient with all weapons of that type, not just the starting weapon. Like... Oh, okay. Like axes, if you're an executioner, you're good like with all axes. That tracks, that makes sense. Crossbows for... Yeah, that sort of makes sense. Any reasons where there could be proficient, none of them pleasant. Is Finn strong enough to hold the pole? Hold it, certainly. Maybe not carry it. I'm just trying to find, like, what would have a strength of 5? What creatures have a strength of 5? For a sort of a comparison. Google. What 5e creatures have strength 5? You did not come up with any useful results, Google. You have failed me. But at the back of the player handbook, which is right here, there's a few. Skellies have a strength of 10. Sprites have a strength of 3. There's your variations. Panthers, owls. A pseudo-dragon has a strength of 6, which is a -2. Which is similar. Here we go, a Quasit. A Quasit has a strength of 5. A Quasit being a tiny demon. And therefore not very useful for me in terms of comparison. A hawk. A falcon has a strength of 5. Could a falcon lift a 10-foot pole? My supposition, probably not. Certainly couldn't get it off the ground. Black bear, brown bear, boar, cat. Frog. Constrictor snake. Yeah. There's only 2 in here that have a strength of 5. And that's a Quasit or a falcon. Or a hawk, you know. Tiny beast. 1 hit point. Not dissimilar. So Finn is about as dangerous as a hawk, which is actually saying quite a bit. But the hawk has a much better dex. In fact, let's actually compare the hawk's stats to Finn. Because the hawk has also got a dex of 16, where Finn's is 11. A con of only 8. So Finn has actually got a better constitution than a falcon. I almost want him to have a crippling fear of something irrational. Ooh! Karen chuckles. I reckon hawks. He's smarter than a hawk, which isn't saying much because a hawk has an intelligence of 2. He has the same wisdom as a hawk and a higher charisma. He beats the hawk in like 3 stats. Yeah. But he does not. He's nowhere near as good at perception. And the hawk does 1 slashing damage. So he probably, with a club, has about a 50-50 chance of doing more damage than the hawk, and he has a much lower to hit modifier because he's using his club. A rooster has a strength of 5. That makes about the same. Yeah, roosters are about the same size as a hawk. Finn hawks, yes, the milkman, and he has a morbid fear of birds. Has fear of birds. Finn Hawkman. Hawks. Forks for short. Oh, that's something different. We don't mention that one. His surname is now Hawks. Yep, love it. Cool. Damage. With poor stats, it's quite possible you could do less than 1 damage after making a successful attack. In that case, you would do less than 1 damage as 0... In the case where you would do less than 1 damage as a 0 level, you do 1 damage. So, yeah. And this is the thing I've always argued. You can't do no damage. You're not so weak that you're just, like, being hit by a club by this person basically renders you... It's like being stroked. It's still gonna hurt. It's just not gonna hurt a lot. I would argue that if you would do less than 1 damage, it is non-lethal. It still does 1 damage, but it is non-lethal damage. It's like, no one's going to kill you by hitting you like this, but they may render you unconscious. Can I do negative damage, though? Try to hurt them and instead heal them. This, again, not without the Magical Club of Healing, which is one of my favorites homebrew magic items, which does a D6 of damage, and then a D8 of magical healing, and it does them in that order. But you do have to make a successful melee attack against your target to do so. It's a really good torture device, because you can bludgeon somebody unconscious and they wake back up again immediately. And I was like, do you want to be hit again? No, please, God, I'll tell you whatever you want. Non-magical healing. As a level 0, you have 1 hit die, a D4. But may not use it during short rests. You heal as per normal rules. You regain 1 hit point every 1d4 hours. Resting can still occur to regain some hit points, but healing naturally will happen much more slowly than it does in a regular 5e game. For instance, if your group decides to rest for an hour or more, your DM will roll a d4 to determine how many hours it will take to heal 1 hit point. Right. So, yeah, to restore Peony from 1 hit point to 7 hit points could take 6 times 4, 24 hours. It could take a full day. Giant Centipede is a strength of 5. That's interesting. Superior Warhammer of Healing. 1d8 of damage, 2d8 of healing. Yep. Death saves. Once a level 0 reaches 0 hit points, they die. They do not make more death saves. Leveling up to 1. Ooh, upon completion of your first adventure, you should level up to 1 in your class of choice. In-game, this could come as a reward for training from a nearby king, powerful artifact that bestows a power on you of your its power on your adventurer, or a purse that allows you to finally quit your job and head off to a nearby wizard tower to begin years of study. Transition your level 0 into a new class following the following guidelines. Step 1, finalize your race. If your race has sub-races and you haven't already picked a sub-race, do so at level 1. Some races confer a bonus to abilities, so be sure to add those. Add all racial features from your base race that aren't included at level 1, at level 0, as well as any features. Yep. Choose a class. You may pick any class when leveling up to level 1. As a bonus for completing a 0-level adventure, you will also get to keep your hit points and hit dice. Oh. You add your 0 level maximum hit points to the number listed under hit points at first level number found in the class features description. For example, if you had 4 maximum hit points with a +0 constitution modifier, and choose to play a bard, your level 1 hit points will be 12. Sure. That's actually really neat. It makes for a chunkier level 1 character. Puts a strong emphasis in Peony going into being a wizard. That is a chunky level 1 wizard. Yeah, at level 1, Peony would be 16 HP for a wizard. If they went into Barbarian, which they are statted for, you'd be looking at 22, which is fucked up. I think Peony would be a pretty tank wizard, and also a very pretty tank wizard. Finalize ability scores. Since you rolled straight 3d6 instead of 46, drop the lowest die to determine your stats. You gain 5 ability points to distribute as you level up. Since you get to pick which ability to get to apply these points to, in testing we found 5 points to be about right. As with normal ability score increases, you may not increase the score above 20. Sure. Oh yeah, I mean, you could put all 5 in one stat and crank it really quite well. I actually worry a little bit that would be OP. The average die roll on 3d6 is 10. 10.5. Yes. The average die roll on 2d4 plus 6, drop the lowest, is 12.24. The average stat for a standard array is 12. Sure. I love that they included that just to, like, follow our math here. Peony the Barbarian. Peony is not Kate. Are we sure about that? Because they have the stats for a bard as well. Could it be Peony the Barbarian? Yes, Peony. I think. Sorry, yeah, that's what we said. Yes, I think so. No. Excellent and everything seems pretty good comparison. They are. Not overly wise, but otherwise, and not wise. There's still a +1 in wisdom. Peony is 14, 14, 16, 14, 12, 15. At level 0. That's silly. No compliments. Ew. Yeah, Kate's cool and pretty. Sorry, guys. Convert background. After picking your class and ability scores, pick a background. Gain the proficiencies, language, and feature listed. You do not earn the gain from starting coin or items. Oh. Sure. We have also included a new background exclusively available to level 0 adventurers. Ooh. Commoner. Ha 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 ha. Yes. A tee. You were never meant to be one of the common folk toiling away at a day-to-day occupation. You knew in your heart that one day you would find the means to become a true adventurer. Spell battles and clashing steel is where your mind drifted whenever you got lost in your daily duties. Now, you've done your time, and your experiences will make you stand out from your fellows who had blessed backgrounds, being born into high nobility, being recruited and hardened in an army, or kidnapped by a wise witch and taught the ways of the arcane. You never expected your first adventure to arrive when it did, and somehow, after seeing your friends and companions cut down one after another, you stand tall, a survivor, ready to face the world. Skill proficiencies, pick 2. Tool proficiencies, pick 1. Equipment. Everything you earned in your level 0 adventure. This likely includes more riches than you ever dreamed of possessing, and perhaps even an artifact or 2. Feature. Commoner's Bond. You are one with the people, and other commoners who hear of your origins and where you came from will bestow their trust and respect upon you. You might gain advantage when negotiating with an innkeeper for a discount on a stay, or have a good insight as to where an ostler might hide a secret document in his stable. In addition, you are a master of your former occupation, and your knowledge related to the occupation is superior. How useful that will be in future adventures remains to be seen. So 1 more gold coin. Exactly. Yeah. Running a level of 0 adventure. Okay. Distributed racial age charts. Oh, that's handy. And just like, how does? Yeah. Oh, look at the cute little character sheets. It's adorable, because there's just no need. There's absolutely no need to have an entire page. They're going to die too quickly. Yeah, so what it does is presume a degree of familiarity with 5e. Like, you would know what you have to roll for certain checks. Because it doesn't specify them. HP, max HP, player name, character name, inspiration, yep. I like that it's got 3 slots for inspiration, like, that's likely. And then, yeah, quick how does. Yeah, cool. I like it. Yeah, I think that's really fun. I'm curious to try. The only thing I am a little concerned about is the 5 points and getting to keep your hit points. The reason I'm concerned about it is even Finn has... Well, Finn only has 2 hit points. That's not a massive deal. But Peony has 7. Yeah, Peony could beat Goku, exactly. Yeah, Peony is a terrifying... And it's just like, I just rolled really well. Because, like, let's average out what Finn got. A 14, 2 12s, a 9, an 11, and a 5. It's actually not shit. And if you were to add 5 points to it, you'd bump... I'd spend 3 on strength just straight away, bumping that up to just an... or maybe just 1, just putting it to 6, which is just out of the danger zone for fucking awful. It's bad, but it's not dreadful. They're just weak. Then you crank Dex up by at least 1 to 12. Crank your intelligence to a flat 10, which leaves you with 2 more points, which I'd put in wisdom for a 16. At which point, and this is just the hypothetical, we would have a 6, a 12, a 12, a 10, a 16, and another 12. Which is, for a level 0 character, for a level 1 character, not too bad. It's not great. But for a druid, it's pretty good. Like, wisdom caster. Wouldn't be a great ranger. Be an okay ranger. But not a great one. Be an okay cleric, too. But I'd with those stats, I'd say druid. World's worst paladin. Oh, absolutely. Whereas Peony, if you got an extra 5 points... I would be very tempted to slap all 5 in charisma, cranking that straight to 20, and have a tanky fucking bard. And have the world's greatest skill monkey. Or you pop 1 in charisma to even that out to 16, and then 4 in dex, and have an upsettingly competent rogue. With 18 hit points at level 1. Wouldn't be a particularly good paladin. So strength is only 14. It's not a particularly good mainline fighter unless you're going to put 5 points, unless you put 4 of your points, or even 2 of your points in strength for a 16. You could just make them pretty freaking decent across the board. Yeah, you could do 4 points in strength and a point in charisma for a very good paladin. Because you're pretty and cool, Kate, that's why, I'm sorry. Tanky fucking bard and world's worst paladin. Why am I being described? An upset, tingly, scarily competent rogue. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know Kate in the meat space very well, so I couldn't speak to their dexterousness, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, that was fun. That was a very interesting thing to have a look at. Next thing I want to have a look at was this thing. It's called Elf Gender Reference Sheet. Which, you know, why not? There we go. Yeah, elf genders. And a really pretty picture. Straight up. Upsettingly competent rogue. I see. This has already made my evening. LEB, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear it. Elf genders. Lucian Khan writes and game design. Jabari Weathers did some great work there, though. That's such a pretty piece of work. Yeah, this I'm just curious. I'm like, I don't know very much about it. I just want to have a look. Elf Gender is a world-building tool for creating your own new system of fantasy genders. And partially, it's Pride Month. I'm curious. Most humans are women, men, or non-binary, but elves are maybe something else. Elf genders helps you decide what. Elves are the example culture, but you can use these techniques to describe a new system of genders for dragons, orcs, fae, werewolves, or other fantasy creatures. Want to brighten up your fantasy RPG with a vivid, complex gender options? Generate these settings and lore details before you start a campaign or one-shot from a fantasy tabletop RPG like Dungeons & Dragons or the latest indie game. So this is system agnostic, which is good. You will need any number of players, including one, a set of polyhedral dice, or an online dice roller, and multiplayer sessions, a method for sharing note-taking such as Google Docs. Tips. A society's genders versus a character's gender. This tool is primarily for world creation, not character creation. It focuses on the level of a society more than on individuals. You will use it to create typical ideas about gender that average elves would know about and believe in. However, this includes typical elves' reactions when someone's gendered expression differs from the norm. At the end, you will have an opportunity to decide how your own characters fit into and defy the gender system you've created. Roll tables and decision making. You will create your new gender system by rolling dice for components in 5 stages: aesthetics, power, bodies, personality traits, romance, and sexuality. Elf gender. I identify as a threat. Yes, I love the threat. That one, yeah. Rolling dice has 2 purposes: to generate an unexpected and unique mix of details, and also to speed up the decision-making process so you can move on to playing your RPG of choice. There is no success or failure, so feel free to re-roll at any time if you don't like the result. If you'd rather just choose your favorite options instead of rolling dice, do it. I mostly identify as a door handle. Everyone twists me. Oh. Utopias and dystopias. You can make your elf culture's gender norms as utopian or dystopian as you want. You are playing with a group, though. Keep a dialogue open about how unfriendly a society so everyone's interested in exploring. If anyone is uncomfortable playing in a certain content, choose a different option. Elf genders is fun. Exactly. Again, good. Respecting trans non-binary players. You can totally see why this was in the... I'm pretty confident this was in the trans rights for Florida bundle. Matriarchy when? Calamity... I am sorry, I'm struggling with that one. Call me Tater. Call me Tater. Hi, Call me Tater. Thank you for joining us. Matriarchy when? Yeah. It is a bit like that, isn't it? Call me Tater. Yes, no, I got it. Call me Tater. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I am Josh the Pirate, and I'm having a look at some third-party 5e content. This one is actually not 5e specific. It is system agnostic, which is cool. And it's for creating elf genders. It doesn't have to be elves. It could be anything you like. So, thanks for joining us. What was I going to say? Matriarchy went... that was it. if you're interested, if you're looking for a really cool series of books that plays with the idea, not so much the idea of gender, but the idea of a societal norm focused on gender, there is a really good series by Anne Leckie called the Ancillary. Each one begins with the word ancillary. It's ancillary justice, ancillary sword, and ancillary mercy. A very, very cool concept. It's all about an AI. But an AI who used to be the AI of a warship, and this race of people, they're all human as far as I could tell. Species didn't matter so much, so one assumes. And they all, the ships were almost exclusively crewed by ancillaries. They had the officers who were thinking individuals, and ancillaries were basically meat robots. They took a human, a captured person, and basically lobotomized, and then put a chip in, and the ancillaries were controlled by the ship's AI. So every single ancillary had the ship's computer in it. However, this ship was destroyed. Spoilers. And all but one of the ancillary bodies were destroyed. So this is functionally this one person. And they look like a human, and as far as I could tell, a female human. But they are upgraded. They are like really quite physically capable. But they are all that's left of this Starship AI. And the story is about them coming to terms with who they are. And Leckie's books, exactly, Tony. Yes, that's the ones. The Ancillary series, and there is a fourth called... what's it called? It's got almost nothing to do with the first three. But it's also very good. It's just set in the same universe, and I'm really hoping they do more of it. It was and it's like, I think it was their first novel as well, Ancillary Justice. They're a little slow. Tony posted a link in the Discord. Thank you, Tony. Yeah, they are very good. My mate Gweem got me onto them. They took a little while. It took me a couple of goes because I read very slowly. But after I got into it, I was like, very good, yes. What was really cool about them, and why I bring it up, is the Radach, which is the sort of the empire that they all work for, has almost no concept of gender. Everyone is referred to with feminine pronouns. It is she and her and their mother, regardless of which parent it is. And up to and including like female signifiers as well. So when someone is describing their cis male parent, they would say her mother is really beautiful. And they are talking about a handsome man. And it's just really, really cool because you're sitting there trying to figure out the physical gender of this person from micro cues in the narrative, but it is almost perfectly expunged it to the point where you just don't know. And after a while, I managed to sort of relax into it and just let it not bother me anymore. But it was really interesting because it made me realize quite how gendered my thinking is. How I'm just like, I'm trying to picture this person, and it's hard if I don't know it's hard if I don't know if they've got boobs, you know? So yeah, that's an interesting one. I would strongly recommend, though, the narrative, the story itself is really good, but the universe building is really interesting. So yeah, there you go. Rant done. Interesting to see that as the default, a nice switch from what can often occur in our reality. Exactly. Yeah, it was I would say clearly written to fly in the face of what we do. And Anne Leckie is a female identifying person, I'm reasonably confident. So that would track, that would be something they would be interested in playing with. But yeah, it's just I don't know very much about the author at all, other than their work, but their work just plays with some very interesting concepts. It's good, high, hard sci-fi. So if you're into that, check that shit out. And Tony has put the link in the Discord. Thanks very much, Tony. In fact, if he's done that, I might even just pop it in chat. Goodreads. Yes, that. I'm going to pop it in the chat so everybody can find it and you don't have to join our Discord to do it. Although MVCDM has just joined the Discord. Verified, my friend. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Where are we? What am I doing? That. Boop. There you go. That is ancillary justice. Check that shit. All right. Gender can be a challenging aspect to play when you don't belong marginalized group in real life, but it can also be a cathartic, inspiring, or simply more of the usual. The author of Elf Genders, who is trans and outside the non-binary non-binary binary. It is correct, it's just a bit of a mouthful. Wants you and your friends to have a positive trans-friendly experience. However, a trans-friendly game will mean different things to different trans people. For example, one trans player may want their fantasy world to be much more open and accepting than the real one. Pep? As a chance to feel some relief. But another trans player may want their fantasy world to be more oppressive than the real world, to roleplay a character who can resist and overcome the worst. Yet a third trans player may not care that much either way, because it's just fantasy. We all deal with gender oppression differently and use role-playing games to satisfy different desires. For this reason, it's a good idea to avoid guessing people's needs and instead give trans or non-binary players a leading voice in your conversations about utopias and dystopias. Different human cultures have a different gender norms, so perhaps different elf cultures do. For a longer campaign or a larger map, consider running this entire exercise multiple times for multiple elf cultures to generate different, more diverse worlds. I have to confess, I knew of Anne Leckie's books, but I haven't read them yet. Well, Tony, now you have some homework. It's a real shame you don't live in Perth, otherwise I'd lend them to you, Tone. Yeah, can recommend. Alright. Decide how many genders you want the culture to have. For a first run, between 3 and 5 genders is best. Then make a list of what the genders would be called: man, woman, non-binary, androfrem, and bear, for example. But for 3 to 5 elf genders, make these names sound elvish, not human. Check out fantasynamegenerator.com for more ideas. Gwenir, Fenas, and Zominim. I use RPGs to fulfill my fantasy of getting 8 hours sleep per day. Bear, the best elf gender. I kind of think Peony is a bear. Alright, need another piece of paper. Need another little... This has tidied my desk up no end. This is a little notebook that Karen made me out of flyers for Paparotica. She bound it. And I used to have just bits of A4 paper, old bills and things, and I just scribbled notes on them as I went. Now I have this. Keeps my desk a lot tidier. It comes in 8 hours. Allegedly. I don't know, I got 8 hours last night. From 4 in the morning till midday. Can recommend. Who's messaging me? What are you saying? Oh, it's Instagram. That can wait. Okay. So, thoughts, ideas for... let's say there are... I like an odd number of genders. Let's say 5. 5 elf genders. And I kind of like bear. Let's say... Fun words for bear. Bear in other languages, and not Bjorn, because I know Bjorn. Bear in other languages. Can't even pronounce that one. Karhu. Or Karu. Urso in Esperanto. Finnish is Karhu. Medv is Hungarian. Bera is Icelandic. Kerma. Ursa. Yep. when pharmacologically assisted. Yeah, absolutely. Orso. Ibu is Igbo. Igbo. Irish Not going to try that one. Orso is Italian, yes. Burang is Indonesian. Laxis is maybe Latvian? Oh, wow. Chimbalang Ondo. Chimbalongo is Chichewa. Or Chichewan. Mathan is Scots Gaelic. Or bear. Oh, I kind of like that. Polish. Can I? Alright. It's not going to tell me how to pronounce it though, but it looks cool. Swedish is Bjorn, of course. Kubeba. Alright. Kate is heading. Bye, Kate. Love to Kate. Can I have hearts in chat for Kate? Kate's amazing and lovely. Time to brave the night for food things. Excellent. Chimbal. Have some, yes. Have some feather hearts in chat for Kate. Love you, Kate. See you later. Zoing. Ziong. What's that? Angbaratu. Ooh. Angbaratu. Okay. Shiong. Okay. I like Shiong. Thank you. That's, yes, I know it's the same word, but Nosferatu. As a gender? Feather hearts also say G-string. Great. Now I can't not see that. Yeah, but from the front. Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Thanks, Crisp and Crunch. So, a Shiong. Thanks, I hate it. In the negative. You're welcome. Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course it is in the negative as well. I hadn't seen that. But it does look like a pair of underwear. Great. So, gender one would be a Shiong. Let's have some other shout-outs. We've had a few. What am I talking about? Nosferatu. Kuma. Bjorn. I love that we're just going to name all of the genders after different words for bear. I like Kuma as well. From LEB. Pharmaceutically. That's how we pronounce that exact word. Alright, let's look at another word. What's an, Tell you what, let's go straight to the top. Let's say, how does one say lesbian in other languages? Lesbian in other languages. Lesbisch. In German? Not that surprised. Hermes. Ooh, I like that, Dak. Yeah, we'll have a Hermes. That's not helpful. More items. Okay. Lesbian. You're gonna... I'm good. I don't want Grammarly right now. Can you show me how to pronounce it?
Lesbian.
No, I know how to pronounce lesbian. I'm wanting you to pronounce it in Korean. Okay, it doesn't have a version for that. That's Italian. We have German.
Lesbierin.
Lesbierin. Portuguese.
Lésbica.
Lesbica. They're not very different, are they? They're all variations on the same. Andro and Lesbos. I don't mind Andro. Ooh! Let's go other animals that are famously maybe gay sometimes. Penguin! Penguin in other languages. Of course, the wonderful story about from Glasgow Zoo. No, not Glasgow. Edinburgh Zoo. Penguin in Austronesian languages. Austronesian, okay. Most of them are penguin. But Maori is Korora. Korora with a line over the top of it. Penguin is Sudanese. Malagasy is a word I'm probably going to brutalize. Vorondrano. It's hard. Let's try European. I might actually have a better chance. It's all penguin. Pingvin. Manshot is French for penguin. Orc. I kind of like orc, actually. Crispin Crunch. Orc. Polish. There's all penguin. Tukniak is Slovak. Rather. Even Welsh is penguin. Useless. African languages tend to be quite cool. Hossa is... I'm not going to try that. Yeah, it turns out penguin is pretty much a universal word. Other foreign languages. Try Middle Eastern. Penguin. Probably because it's not native to any of these places. Asian languages. Yeah. Having them in the original spelling is not helpful. Chim Kan Chut in Vietnamese. That's obviously probably very wrong. And any Vietnamese people watching who are offended by that, I do apologize. A is in Chinese. Chu E. Is there a pronunciation? Can I get that pronounced, please? QI apostrophe E with a little thing. Godiva. Ooh, Hippoca. I kind of like Godiva. A Godiva, as in lady. All right, there we go. Sheong, Kuma, Hermes, Orc, and Godiva are 5 genders. Which category is most important to the elves' idea of gender? So I need a D6 in chat, please. The options are aesthetics, power, bodies, personality traits, romance, sexuality. They are all equally important. A 3, thanks Tony. Bodies. Okay. Begin with the most important section, then do other sections in order. Okay. Bodies. Interesting. Bodies. Okay. In elf culture, what is the relationship between bodies and genders? A D4 then. I'm going to roll this one. A 3. Body types are loosely associated with gender. Okay. A D12 in chat, please, everybody. Order of penguin is Svenskidae. So Svensis. Ooh. Svensis. Yeah, I'm going to take out Godiva and actually put in Svensis. Thank you. Because Godiva is already a word that I have a strong association with. Very odd ads. Good, thank you. Need any cock rings? Svensis. a 12. And we got a 2 on the dice. Thanks, Crispin. Naked women on horses. Yes, exactly. It's a very specific gender. Sphensis. All right. Erogenous zones. Most elves of the same gender share similar erogenous zones. Elves of the same gender share erogenous zones. Similar erogenous zones. Changing your gender is... Ooh, I'm going to roll one. Can I get one in chat as well? D12s, please. A D12. I so rarely get to roll a D12. A 7. And Tony got a 5. That got a 12. Alright, well, we'll see. So, changing your gender is a 7. Part of aging. Ooh, that's cool. Change gender as part of aging. I like that. Of age. And changing your body is, and we got a 5, hard, or 12, uncommon. We'll use the 12 on the next one. I think hard. Changing body is hard. Change... is hard. Anything else? Examples. In elf society, most elves of the same gender share similar ears, teeth, and voices. Gwyniad have long, straight ears, short, dull teeth, and high voices. Fenellas have short, curly ears, sharp teeth, and low voices. Zolim have medium-sized, rounded, pointy ears, rounded teeth, and mid-range voices. Changing your gender is celebrated, and changing your body is a rite of passage to enter certain religious societies. In elf society, body types have nothing to do with gender. Changing your body is taboo, but changing your gender is common. In elf society, we are being raided by the Lawrite. Hey, Lawrite! Thank you very much for the raid, my dear. How are ye? Favorite raid emotes in chat, guys. How are we? Hey, Thamio, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for the resub. You excellent individuals. Raid. Let's do that. Boom. Greetings, guys. If you haven't already subscribed to the Lawrite, you could do yourself a favor and do so. At _Lawrite. Yeah. Lawrite is great. Very good friend. Much wow. I will be playing over on the Lawrite on Friday evening as part of their ongoing Shadows over Morna campaign, which is jolly good fun. Guys, thank you so much for bringing your community here. Doing okay. Had to cut stream a little short because of migraine aura. Ugh, gross. Ardana was also here last night playing some really fun new system, Major Magica. The VOD is up on the ! YouTube, so you can check it out there. Or you can just look here after the stream. Take care of yourself, Lawrite. Yes, I will see you Friday, my dear. We are trying out an elf gender generator. So we have our 5 genders. We could use the thing to describe. Most elves of the same gender share erogenous zones. I'm actually not going to do that live on stream. I'm going to take the 12 that Tony rolled. They share voices. Instead. I think that's actually more interesting and less confronting. So let us say, Xiong have, what do we think, high-pitched voices? I think Xiong are high-pitched. Kuma are... I think have, like... I think they'd be low-pitched. I think they'd be, yeah, quite deep voices. Ooh, yes. Let's have Sphensis be sopranos. And very clear voices. Particularly good at singing. Like, they are just... Sphensis tend to be. Not necessarily, but tend to be. Orc have sort of, like, crackly broken. I think that they are characterized by voices that break constantly. Broken or break, B-R-E-A, king voices. But it's not seen as a problem. It's just that they go all over the place and they have difficulty controlling their pitch. And Hermes, we've got high, we've got low. So Hermes would be, I would say, Hermes would be tenors. We made puberty a gender. Just one element of puberty, and only for boys. Do girls' voice braces? I do suppose they do go down a little bit, but it's I've never noticed it be particularly like noteworthy. I had a very clean break. I was very, very lucky. My voice broke for less than 3 days. I just one day I was a baritone. You don't want to make a rod for your back when role-playing a broken voice. That is a valid point, Absalom Dak. Yeah. Possibly then let us say that the orc have the greatest variety. Tenor for Hermes and a variety. They're the ones that it doesn't necessarily. Girls' voices get a little deeper, but not as noticeable as boys. Yeah. That was my impression. Yeah. I like number of limbs. And I do kind of like it as a concept. Oh, that's a Kuma. How can you tell? They've got 4 limbs. And then do the rest in order. Apparently. Begin with the most important section, then do the other sections in any order. So, aesthetics. In elf culture, what tastes are considered typical for each gender? Clothing materials. 19. Silk. So yeah, Shi-ong like silk. Kuma favor gold. McCords are tasteful. Yeah, I know, right? I'm hoping for it. An 8 is fur. Homies like fur. 7, flannel. Orc like flannel. Yep, love it. Orc are lesbians, who knew? Or lumberjacks. Another 9. That's gold. We don't want that. This tracks. I'm gonna say corduroy for Svensis. Yeah, sopranos with clear, piercing voices and corduroy. Fishnets? Fishnets on there? They are. Wow. Corduroy. Hilarious. Now I need Finn and Peony to have an orc lumberjack friend. No, it's spelled A-U-K, orc. But yes, also that. Color palettes. Okay. A 5. Pastels. Silk pastels. Musical instruments. Wind. Leaving that right there. Scents. I like scents. Let's try that one. Senseless. 6. Ocean scents. This is very detailed. And again, you don't have to go with all. I would actually almost say there are 5, and I would almost say for each one, you have one aesthetic. So you pick one, each gender, and then you roll a d5 for which aesthetic is, like, which color or which musical instrument. I think musical instrument is an odd thing to pick for aesthetic. Building rich Japanese nobles during the Warring States period is a gender. You're saying, well, like, what, just people who happen to like pastel silk clothing and ocean scents. Maybe wind instruments and let's say, and sour flavors. All of this tracks. But with high-pitched voices. Alright. Which area of society does the gender have the most power and authority and the least? Ooh! A 9 and 6. So, Xiong would be extremely powerful in the area of trade and and not weak in the area of magic. Ah! Senjuku Jidai Sentai is clearly an aesthetic gender we need. Yeah. Aesthetically, absolutely. Do not disagree. And yeah, very powerful traders and merchants, but not very powerful with magic, which I kind of like. That tracks completely. Trade, yes. Magic, no. No, big cross. Personality types. A positive personality type for Xiong would tend to be 17 scholarly, which is odd given that they are not good at magic. And a negative one, they do tend to be a little shallow. That kind of tracks with what we've got. Romance and sexuality. What is the usual relationship between gender and romance sexuality? A D12. Can I get a D12 in chat, please? Warring Period Power Rangers. A 9. Thanks, Dak. Elves of 5+ genders, different genders, usually form larger groups. Ooh, I like that. That's cool. Trying to go to 6. What's that? Elves of 3 or different genders usually form triads. Oh. Both are cool. I kind of like that, the second one, actually, because it means, given that there are 5 genders, you could be attracted as like, oh, I do like me, if you were a Xiong, and you do like, I do like me a bit of a Hermes, but sometimes I also want a Spencer, so I find one of each. We form a triad. It seems more practical as well, to me, as somebody who likes the idea of polyamory, but it does sound rather tiring. And how does society regard elves who deviate from usual romantic sexual pattern? D8. D8 in chat, please. Oh, I roll. 1. Illegal! We get a pair of 6s, though. Beautiful. Oh, that's actually more interesting. To conclude, gather your answers from the various sections together in a central location where all the players can easily refer to the details. What is my character's personal response to elf society gender norms? Well, let's find out. For the 4 are 2 characters. Elves fits into gender norms, but except some elves who don't. That's Peony. Peony is fine with people who aren't, but they are cis. And let's find out about Finn. Works to dismantle elf society's system of gender norms. Of course, Finn fucking does that. Send you an image of ceremonial dress. Ooh. Yeah. Oh yeah, very much pastels. I don't really think pastels when I think traditional Japanese, but yeah, that is very much. Yeah, very pretty as well. In terms of an aesthetic, it's such a gorgeous culture, and in other ways as well. But yeah, Finn the Milkman destroying gender norms with one got milk at a time. Exactly. Well, there you go. That is how one builds genders. I think that's very cool. I was a little worried that it was going to be like it would build it in such a way that it would make it almost the focus of the narrative. But It's so heavy. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because it's silk. Silk is a heavy fabric. They made armor out of that stuff. Um, Admittedly, just the bottom layer, but still. Yeah, I think it's really cool. I don't know that I would go to that much effort most of the time. But if you're building a world from scratch, to do it with one particular race, could be very interesting, or one particular culture. Like I said, with Anne Leckie, but because the main reason I'm looking at this from the perspective of a streamer, of somebody whose narratives, whose D&D and other games are often to be, or continent, yeah, often to be viewed, because of my own experience with the Anne Leckie books, where there's only one gender, it's monogendered, it's humans, so there is two genders or more. But there is two, generally speaking, physical genders, and you need one of each to make a baby. Gender in sort of procreation terms. It does not appear to be an issue of sexuality. In fact, monogamy is not even particularly common in the book. And sexuality is very much just who you are attracted to, not about gender at all, because gender is gone. And other societies look at it and think that's a bit weird. But you're always viewing these other societies from the perspective of a member of the Radach, who has no real concept of gender, is aware that other races do, but yeah, for them it's like, why do you bother making that differentiation? Which is quite interesting. But for a good portion of my first read through of the books, it was a sort of fixture in my mind of trying to figure that out. And I reckon it's at least partially because I am dyslexic. I think very visually. It's an element of dyslexia. Dyslexics do tend to do that. And so I'm not just seeing pictures, I'm seeing a full 3D movie in my head as I'm reading, which is partially, I think, why I read quite slowly. So I want to know what the characters look like, at least in my own head. Language and the use thereof defines the viewpoint of the world. Well, exactly, and having only a single gender in that language defines the way that culture relates to gender, and also to other cultures that don't. Yeah, it's a really interesting thing. I don't know if I'd use it for my own world building, but it's certainly not necessarily for... I come out of it wanting to, though. I come out of it going like, that's really cool. I think it is less... It can be sort of up to the DM about how much of a deal it is. Because there's nothing about it that makes it have to be about trans. It could just be, this is an interesting element. You can go full bore, like... You can ignore completely about, gender is not about what's in your pants. Main character has a language without a personal pronoun. Old book, Babel 13. Oh, yeah. Ooh, cool. Thank you, I'll take the recommendation. Yeah, nice idea. Yeah. Sorry, Babel 17. Okay. Pop that into the Google as well. Babel 17. Samuel R. Delaney, in which Sapir-Whorf hypothesis plays an important point. What is the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis? Empire Star. Is a language that is utilized as a weapon by enemy invaders during an interstellar war. Chinese starship captain, linguist, poet, and telepath Rydra Wong begins to learn the language after several attacks have been made by the invaders who speak Babel 17. She soon realizes the potential of the language to change one's thought process and provide speakers with certain powers. She is recruited by her government to discover how the enemy is infiltrating and sabotaging strategic sites. As her understanding of the language increases, she is able to predict where the next attack will be and gathers a team to go to the predicted location of the attack. Initially, Babel 17 was thought to be a code used by enemy agents. Rydra realizes that it is a language in and of itself. During the mission, Rydra realizes there is a traitor aboard the ship. After escaping the predicted attack, Rydra and her crew are captured by a pirate ship called a shadow ship. While on the ship, Rydra meets a man called the Butcher, who does not use the word I. After teaching the Butcher the word I, Rydra the Butcher and her crew leave the ship. During the battle, Rydra the Butcher, who already unknowingly spoke Babel 17, are rescued but seem incredibly altered. While their bodies are present, their minds seem elsewhere. Their ability to speak Babel 17 has altered their minds, and we learn that it was Rydra who was the traitor on board the ship. Babel 17 has discovered to be a language that not only helps you understand the enemy, but become the enemy. The novel deals with several issues related to the peculiarities of language, how the conditions of life shape the formation of words and meaning, and how words themselves can shape the actions of people. From 1966, it's that old, yeah. Yeah, it was nominated for the Hugo Award for Best Novel in 1967. And it was a joint winner of the Nebula Award Best Novel in 1967 as well, with Flowers for Algernon. Wow. The Sapir-Whorf hypothesis that language influences thought and perception. For the book, not the person. Yeah. Certain First Nations people living in the tundra have 13 words for ice and snow, but almost no native words for sand. Of course not. Yeah, language is shaped by their worldview and shaped what they can express and the ways they understand. Yeah, absolutely. A valid point, Ellie. I had a thought. What was I going to mention? Arrival, the film. Yeah. Linguistics is a fun time, yeah. And, yeah, language, because it was about language and the perception of time. And the way you perceive one influences the way you perceive the other. Yeah. Good film, Arrival. Would recommend. Yeah, alrighty. Do I have any other little bits and pieces that I want to have a look at? I've got Larson's Crafting Catalogue, which is from Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting. We have Trapmaster. Ooh, let's have a look at Trapmaster. Phylactery number 1. This is 5e Ideas. Love it. Welcome to the Phylactery, a Kickstarter design funded solely for the OSR community. Little Judy is jam-packed with all sorts of ideas, plot hooks, and interesting crunchy bits. Chaos Throne. Oh, that's cool. The Gibbering Thing in the Cellar and other slobbering gelatinous monsters. Someone's in my fruit cellar. Someone with a fresh soul. Henrietta, Evil Dead 2. Ooh. In places haunted and perilous, evil things stare in the darkness, waiting for tasty, armored morsels of flesh from this surface world to go looking for treasure in places they shouldn't be. What lurks beneath? Where's Kate's party cube when you need it? Exactly. A bent, crooked beast composed of warped, flowing flesh and bones that crack when it moves. It gibbers madly at the sight of the living, and anyone who looks at it for too long gets a headache. Ugh. A stillborn demigod, tossed aside in a murderous rage, skipping across dimensions until it unceremoniously landed here. Everything around it is either goes mad, physically mutates, or is otherwise warped by its presence. This is horrible. I'm going to look at Trapmaster instead. It's making me quite upset. I don't care for it. This is a Kobold Press. And it is a little supplement. Ooh, tell you what. Gibbering Mouther appears, and again in the stream. Yep. I will share with you, instead, this bad boy. Found this, speaking of Kobold Press, found this in an op shop. Unlikely Heroes. This is rules for playing, yeah, unusual races. This has rules for playing a Damphia, a Darrow, a Dust Goblin, a Djinborn, a Kijani, a Lamia, a Ramag, a Shahagan. And it's also got a few backgrounds: Cannibal, Headhunter, Prophet, Scavenger, Seer, and then variant Guild Artisan Tinker, and variant Urchin Beggar. And some of the artwork's very cool as well. Damphia, Charisma by 2, Dex by 1. They can live for 750 years. Dark Vision, Dark Thirst, which is, yeah, basically a bite attack. If you bite, you can bite an unarmed strike against your incapacitated creature or one you have grappled. Your bite deals 1 point of piercing damage, and if the creature has blood and isn't a construct or undead, you can feed from it as part of the attack. Your feeding deals necrotic damage equal to your charisma mod, and if your target takes damage, you regain 1 spent hit die. Predatory Charm, yeah. Then there's the Djinborn, which are basically Genasi. And there are 2 different kinds, a Speaker and Shaper. There are some more interesting ones, though. There is Lamias, which is an interesting concept. Strength by 2, Charisma by 1. Live for 150 years, Dark Vision. Snake Body, you have advantage on saving throws and ability checks against being knocked prone. You can't benefit from anything that requires wearing legs or feet. Dangerous Beauty, you have proficiency in Deception and Intimidation. And Serpent Strike, you have advantage on attack rolls against a creature you have Surprise, or that is charmed by you or your allies. You can write Abyssal and Common. You are Monstrosity. And you are Medium. Yeah, I don't think it's too OP. I had a look through them, but one of them that I am quite interested in is the Kijani, which are plant people. Plant folk. Set of rules for characters with disabilities. Made an Ooze PC. Don't they have some disability rules in the DMG? They are people. I'll show you the art. It's a Kijani. There we go. They're just planty people. These are all 4, because the Kobold Press has its own setting, the Midgard campaign setting. And Kijani are Wisdom plus 2, and any one other ability score in 1. They do not live very long. They're only a 40-year-long lifespan. They tend to be neutral. They are plants. They can see in dim light. They have dark vision. Contain Fury. When you're badly hurt, your base urges command you send you into a Fury. While below half your maximum hit points, you have access to the following options. Once per turn, you can hit, when you hit with a weapon attack, you deal an extra 1d4 weapon damage, which is, at low levels pretty cool. As a reaction, when you are hit by an attack during your Fury, you can add +2 to your AC against that attack. You must be able to see the attacker to make that reaction. Plantborn, though you enter a state of dormancy during long rests, similar to the way other creatures sleep, you are immune to any effect that would put you to sleep. When you reach 7th level, you can cast Speak with Plant spell as a 3rd level spell once with this trait, and regain the ability to do so when you get a long rest. Roots of the Past, you have proficiency of one of the following: Arcana, History, Nature, or Religion. You can speak and write Common and Sylvan. I think it's pretty balanced. I wonder how they go at level 0. Kijani, yeah. That'd be fun. You'd have to get rid of Contain Fury. It's too powerful for a level 0 character. But Plantborn is fairly meaningless. You just can't be put to sleep. So I'd let you have that. And Dark Vision. Yeah, not a Lamia, though. Level 0 Lamia. Uncontained Fury. Yeah, it was a good bathroom reading for a while. Is that a Firefly behind me? Or is that Firefly? It is the Firefly board game, yes. Yes. I have never played it. My understanding is that it's essentially Space Monopoly, and that turned me right off. Trap Master by Greg Marks. See if I can zoom in a little bit. There we go. It's basically finding your purpose. Trap design. Simple traps. Enough rope to hang themselves. A lot of traps rely on surprise. If you are not expecting a trap, you might stumble into it. Then again, I was kind of hoping for just a list of good ideas. Here we go. Jingle snare. Pitfall. Simple trap. A jingle snare. Sometimes a hunter can't be everywhere, but they cover a large area with jingle snares. That's cool. Yeah, this is sort of kind of what I was looking for in this. What's this? Fall and switch. Complex trap. Deadly threat. This trap is designed to separate dungeon delvers with a multi-layered pit trap and trick parties into leaving allies behind. Limitless Heroics is a fun expansion for disabilities, physical and otherwise. Oh yeah, both initially and through misadventure. Cool. We said PHB would have some, or was it the Dungeon Master's Guide? DMG, didn't they? This was the first book I ever bought, was the DMG, because I said I was going to start being a DM, and did they have any recommendations? And they said, get that. And dead set, I have yet to read it. I've used a few bits of it. Diseases, character option, ability options, chambers. Mapping a dungeon. Disabilities. Roll of dice. Social interactions. Faces. Combats. Diseases. Poisons. Equipment. Madness. Venturing options. Might be in adventuring options. I have a player character who plucked her eye out and used a rule from the DMG to reflect this. Oh. I just give her a disadvantage in perception. Going mad. Simple potions. Siege equipment. Chases. What am I looking for? 266. There is the honor and sanity scores, which I think are quite interesting. Fear and horror. Healing. Healing surges, slow, natural healing, rest variants, explosives, proficiency, firearms, alien technology. That's a seriously cool picture. Healer's kit dependency. Ooh, here we go. Fear and horror. 272. Thanks, Dak. Lingering injuries. Ah, there we go. Massive damage. Optional rule for a creature to be felled by a massive damage. Ah, okay. Yep. There are a few options that I have used from this section. Cleave is one that I use. First D&D book I got was the original Monster Manual. Nice. As in for Dungeons & Dragons 1 or Advanced Dungeons & Dragons? And I say that as I'm not sure which is which. Yeah, lingering injuries. Lose an eye, lose an arm or hand, lose a leg or foot. Limp, internal injury, and this is on a D20, so they're all equally likely. Internal injury is 5 to 7. Broken ribs, same effect as an internal injury, except that the save is a DC 10. Whenever you attempt an action in combat, you must make a DC 15 con save. On a failed save, you lose your action and can't use reactions until the start of your next turn within the internal injury. The injury heals when you receive magical healing or if you spend 10 days doing nothing but resting. Wow. Broken Ribs, same deal, but the DC is 10, not 15. Horrible Scar, you were disfigured to the extent that the wound can't be easily concealed. You have disadvantage on persuasion checks and advantage on intimidation. Magic healing of 6 level or higher, such as heal or regenerate, removes the scar. Festering Wound, your hit point maximum is reduced by 1 every 24 hours. The wound persists. If your max drops to 0, you die. The wound heals if you receive magical healing alternately. Someone can tend the wound and make a DC 15 Wisdom Medicine check once every 24 hours. After 10 successes, the wound heals. Wow. AD&D. The Monster Manual was for AD&D. They had another book for the D&D game. Ah, there you go. Lawright says, first D&D book I ever got was the starter set. Game Store recommended it instead of the DMG because of what you get in the box compared to a single book. Yeah, I think that's actually not a bad call. For beginning, I think the starter set's actually pretty decent. To learn the basic system, I think it's pretty good. It's really just lingering injury, though, not so much playing with a disability, but it is like lose a leg or foot. There is those, I suppose. Yeah, you have disadvantage on wisdom saves for losing an eye. Wisdom checks, rather, perception checks that rely on sight and ranged attack rolls. Magic such as regenerate can restore the lost eye. If you have no eyes after sustaining this injury, you're blinded. Lose an arm or hand. No longer hold anything with 2 hands. Lose a leg or foot. Your movement speed is halved. On foot, you must use a cane or crutch to move unless you have a peg leg or other prosthesis. You fall prone after using the dash action. You have disadvantage on dex checks made to balance. Magic such as regenerate can restore the appendage. Limb. Your speed on foot is reduced by 5 feet. You must make a dex save throw after using the dash action. You fail the save. It's a limp. A limp. Yeah. Minor scar. Doesn't have any adverse effect. Healing magic, such as heal or regenerate, will remove it. That is a 17 to 20, which is the most common. But you also have to roll quite lucky for it. Yeah. Well, fun. Fun and glorious, and I am getting a little wearied, ladies and gents. So, a splendid time zone to you all. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me for a lovely evening. I think we will go and drop a raid on somebody now. Yeah, we have a few options. We've got It's Fate's Grip. We've got GM... You know what? We haven't raided GM Workshop in a sod of a long time. Call me Tater. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you. And thank you for the follow, you bloody champion. Avast, matey, you wee scallywag. You bloody champion. Good on you. Thanks very much for the follow. I will be back Thursday evening for more Humblewood of Monsters and Magic, which is our ongoing Humblewood campaign in the 5e but third-party world of the Humblewood. Loved making Finn and Peony. Yes, that was a great fun. Quickly then, because I think he might end soon. Well, let's find out. Because if he is, he has been going. He's only been going for 3 hours. We'll see. I'll keep an eye. Thanks for that, Thamio. Only. I mean, yeah, I've only been going for 2. He's just raided us. Dak, I was just about to do the same, buddy. Thank you very much, Dak. Rackham, thank you very much, mate, for the raid. We were just about to do the same. That is also possible. Classic Sam, thank you very much for the follow, you bloody champion. Avast, mateys, you wee scallywags. Maybe Fates. Yeah, I think Fates is a good idea, Ellie B. Yeah. Got to keep it going. Yes, we do. Killer Koala! Thank you for the follow, you bloody champions. Guys, we were actually just raiding out. But I tell you what, seeing as you raided in, we will run you quickly through what we just did. Because we've had a splendid afternoon. So, let me show you what we were doing. We had a look at the elf gender generator. Was the second thing we had a look at. This is Elf Genders, which is I've been having a look at a couple of third-party 5e content elements. This one is by Lucian Khan, and it is a system for generating. It's more for world building than for character creation. But it can also be applied to character creation, and we came up with a system of 5 genders for an elf community. The Shiong, Kuma, Hermes, Orc, and Svensis, and they all have different signifiers and things that they favor. The Shiong, for example, tend to have high-pitched voices and favor silks. Silk clothing in pastels and the scent of the ocean, for example. They don't all do that, otherwise that would be a very boring gender-based system. We all like ocean smells! But it just, as a stereotype, it's quite an interesting thing. And most elves of the same gender share taste for have similar pitched voices, and changing of gender happens as you age in this setting, while changing your body is actually quite hard. So gender and physical form are not intrinsically linked, which was quite an interesting element to play around with. There are also an awful lot of different ways of approaching it, and different things. So aesthetics, power, personality traits, romance, and sexuality. In this world, we decided that triads were quite common, as were groups of 5s. Elves of each sort of a group of elves would gather one of each type of each gender for a sort of communal marriage situation. It's quite an interesting idea. Shenanigans McLollygag. Thank you very much for the follow. An excellent name. As in Shenanigans McLollygag. Yeah. Shenanigans McLollygag, thank you very much for the follow, you bloody champion. Avast, mateys! You wee scallywags. Rackham, you bloody champion, thank you so much for dropping your splendid people on us. Let's have a quick shout out for Rackham. What are you doing? It is an excellent name, alright, yeah. At GM Workshop. There he is. Yeah, that one is. That one's quite interesting. But the one we really vibed with was this one. This is Rules for Playing a Level 0 Character in 5e. This is the 0 level rulebook, and we made a couple. We created a couple because they are likely to be very, very squishy, obviously. Level 0 characters are basically as commoners, but you roll your dice, you roll your race. We rolled up a pair. We have Finn the human, obviously, and we had a half-elf who we wound up calling Peony. Then you roll, then we rolled to determine their character attributes. In this system, you roll 3 dice and you don't get to pick where they go. You just, so we rolled, and Finn has a strength of 5. Whereas Peony got absurd stats. Finn got 5 in strength, 11 in dex, 12 in con, which is not bad, and 9 in intelligence, and a 14 in wisdom. So they're a wisdom caster because their charisma is 12 for a human. That's okay, but it's not great. Peony, on the other hand, strength 14, dex 14, con 16, intelligence 14, wisdom 12, charisma 15. It was nuts. Peony is a carpenter, Finn is a milkman, which is the next thing you determine. You determine occupation. And then these sort of come with a basic series of gear and 1 proficiency. Finn is proficient with animal handling, which works because they have a decent wisdom, so they're a +4 in animal handling and basically a basically nothing in almost everything else. Whereas Peony is proficient with carpenter's tools because they're a carpenter, and light hammers. Finn is proficient with clubs. They also have a metal bucket and a 10-foot pole. And a fear of birds, because we were going and having a look and seeing, for comparison, what is a strength 5 creature? A hawk is a strength 5 creature. Finn is deathly afraid of birds. Yeah, exactly. And then there was, at the very back of the book, basically, you can't do 0 damage with a weapon attack just because it's not fun. 0 level rulebook for 5e is available on DTRPG for $4.44. There you go. Thank you very much, Crispin Crunch, for finding that out, you bloody champion. Commoner is also a background now, because if you succeed in your adventure, and you may not, because you have a D4 as your hit dice for a level 0 character, so that means that Finn has, and I love this, 2 hit points. And Peony has 7, because we rolled max, and Peony has a very good con. So Peony is reasonably tanky for a wizard, a level 1 wizard, whereas Finn is a pretty squishy anything. He's pretty squishy even by commoner standards, to be honest. You get 2 skill proficiencies, 1 tool proficiency, and any of the equipment you found while you were being a level 0 character. And you have a feature, the Commoner's Bond. You are also considered to be a master of the trade you were in. So Finn, the Master Milkman. And Peony, the Master Carpenter. The uncommon commoner, exactly. I think he's a fairly common commoner, actually. I think it's Peony who's the uncommon commoner, LEB. Alrighty, guys. Well, I will... that is what we had a look at this evening. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Thank you for the follows, you bloody champions. I will be back Thursday evening, so 2 nights from now, with the Humble Wood, which is our ongoing Humblewood campaign. It is coming up to 100. It is 110 episodes now. It's a fairly large and storied world. The gang has just traveled to the elemental plane of life, where we will be having a special guest join us. Fenway, the teen DM, who the organizer of and creator of Jasper's Game Day, will be joining us for a special short adventure in the Plane of Life in the Humblewood setting, which is very cool. And then Monday evening, the Major Magica crew will be back. I know, LEB. I was stoked to get her as well. They were... I think Fenway is like many of us, has crippling imposter syndrome and cannot believe that everybody thinks she's as amazing as she is. That being said, she is amazing and can heartily endorse. Fenway, the best mimic sheep friends. Exactly! Which is partially why I wanted her to come back, because the sheep friends will be there too. So, come back Thursday evening for sheep friends. And then, yes, Monday evening... a different person from that same game, the Knight Geo from OzQuest, will also be joining us, back for more Major Magica, which is a different non-5e system. Jolly good fun to play. We will be doing that on Monday evening, again set in the Humble Wood, however. So Karen, the mother of bunnies, Brendan Ellis, and the Lawwright Ardana herself will be joining us for that, as well as Geo. So that's going to be super fun. Guys, I will also be over on the Lawwright on Friday night for more Shadows of Amorna. If you enjoyed my majestic voice, but you think I could stand to tone the face down a bit, you can check me out in the podcast There Be Dragons, where I play the infamous and deadly pirate Scan Felspar und his little dragon, Hrush. Corsair's Cove is affiliated with Wooden Forge, creators of WA's finest handcrafted wooden tabletop accessories like this gorgeous Jarrah Dice Keeper. All artisan quality stuff made from Australian and exotic hardwoods. Check them out at woodenforge.com/Corsair's Cove, and you can, if you do that and you purchase anything there using that link, we get a cheeky little kickback. So that would be bloody awesome of you guys. Music today has been provided by the wonderful Sirenscape. What fun we have had, and I will now take you and drop you on Fate's Grip. Michele is running a game over there, so let's do that, shall we? Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Throw your favourite raid emotes up in chat. Tell Michele and the gang where you came from, and we will see you, hopefully, same bad time, same bad channel, on Thursday evening for some Humble Wood. Say goodbye, Josh. Bye, Josh. Whee!